think it adds a little bit of professionalism.
Yeah, so, no, it is because of you guys. Because when you guys did yours, I thought it was really cool. So then I'm like, oh, I should do one.
Yeah, I remember you always talked about doing one, and I was like, yeah, you should fucking do one. You'd be really good at it.
Talking shit. Non-stop talking shit. So we'll start off. This is Brent. So how long have you had your brown belt before that?
I have not. I can't answer that question because I don't have a brown belt, despite what everyone thinks. Go search on the internet to see if there's evidence of me having a brown belt. There is none.
Just gonna Photoshop pictures.
See, it's here. Look, it's on Google Images.
I swear to God.
No, man.
Maybe it was your purple belt.
It's my purple belt.
When did you get your purple belt?
Oh, I want to say maybe between 2017, 2018.
Okay, so just before the pandemic.
Yeah, before the pandemic.
A year or so before. Yeah. I'm pretty sure I just have a horrible memory.
I remember, it must be closer to 2017 because that was the last time I competed and I was a purple belt.
Yeah.
I think I was like a fresh purple.
Actually, I don't think I've ever asked, but when did you start training?
2012, 2013.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's.
But I mean, I've like dabbled a little bit, but like I think officially gung ho, fresh start in jiu-jitsu, 2012, 2013.
And where was that?
At Apex.
At Apex?
Yeah. I used to train just like, just like kind of like shadow clubs that don't really exist, like one guy says, some stuff and I'm like, okay, let's figure this out. And, Arthur, right?
Yeah.
Like I used to train with Arthur and Arthur had like, really good knowledge of the game.
Where did he end up going?
He went
was in
to
North Van?
Yeah, he goes to North Van Jiu-Jitsu, so that's like a legitimate Gracie CTC. So he's learning like.
Yeah, he was a nice guy. I think he got his brown belt.
Yeah, he's got his brown belt. I think he's pretty. He can't get his black until he has to go to fucking Torrance.
Oh,
to get it from
University.
Like from the roots, like the blood. He has to drink the blood of the Gracies, and then he can get his black belt.
Yeah. So, are you still with Apex now?
I'm still with Apex. Nice. Yeah. The pandemic really like. I hate to use that as an excuse, but I mean, you couldn't do anything, and I'm a little bit more like. What's the word I'm looking for? Worried about it than most people, right? Especially like, we're doing grappling, like we're right in front of each other. So
I think during the pandemic, grappling, it's weird because the rules set like it's labeled as a sport, but I think during the whole pandemic, the rules and stuff weren't super specific for anything. So it was kind of like, I mean, objectively. I agree with you 100% in that it is probably the worst thing for spread of like respiratory based illness, right? Because you're in each other's face, you're breathing hard, you're sweating, and also like your like central nervous, you're taxed after, so you're drained.
You're easily susceptible, right?
Yeah. So I think I'm with you. I think it was like, but even like when we started opening things up, like the club here, everybody would train, like we didn't start training until everybody was vaccinated double, and we wore masks for a long time in the very beginning.
Yeah.
But even then, it's still like a bad thing to do. We did stuff like we'd keep the same partners, we'd try to space it out on the mats, but I think I think we agree that it's tough for a lot of
It's tough, but like props to people who were finding solutions to do what they loved, you know what I mean? Like, okay, whatever, we'll figure it out. Yeah. We want to do this, right?
Yeah, I know. Like I keep in touch with Kabir. You know Kabir, right?
Yeah.
So he was doing a lot of like Zoom stuff, and like it's cute. He had these like kids, like I think I saw the video, like they're pillow dummies and stuff.
Oh
making it work, right?
Yeah.
Like racking your brain trying to figure, especially in the early 2019 when they weren't sure what to do or whatever. It was tough, but yeah, I'm with you. It was impressive how some people it's a good time to dive into instructionals, I guess.
Yeah, that's all you could do.
Yeah.
How long of a gap did you have, or did you not have a gap at all?
I had about 18 months.
It was, whoa, that's a long time.
I pulled I think I was like you, I was a little bit more tentative.
Yeah.
Or maybe prudent, or just a sissy.
No, I would, yeah.
But
I'll take it if
probably
that's
like
what it is.
mid-February, like 2019, when I started seeing like work was putting out stuff about it, and I'm like, man. Also at the time I was still pretty busy with like Macs and stuff, so I was like, I pulled the plug really early. Like, and then when they kind of didn't exclusively shut down, I would go into PTT off hours, either with Jen or with Corey, my brother-in-law, and we'd just drill for 30 minutes.
That's good. It's family, right?
Yeah, I think, well, Jen's like, if I'm getting it, she's getting it.
Yeah.
But yeah, other than that, that was it. And then it wasn't until like mid-June of 2021 when things, started to lift, and we started this little club here.
I'm sure you're always pretty fit anyway, so how did it feel coming back? Like, did it feel like, riding a bike, or?
Timing was definitely a thing.
Yeah.
So what I did was, as soon as I pulled the plug in February, in March, Owen was he bought me a copy of Strong First, Simple and Sinister.
Oh yeah, okay.
So I just went hard. I was training not hard, but I was very consistent, because I took out all the time that I would have put into jiu-jitsu, and then I just swung kettlebells.
Yeah, I saw that. You're like fucking Ivan Drago in Rocky IV, just fucking.
It's like a piece of iron.
This is nothing.
Yeah. So I really it was really good timing that it was something I could do at home. So for me, that was my alternative, right? I'm like, I can't do jiu-jitsu, which I love, but luckily kettlebells is a very good, it's a lot of carryovers.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like the workout you do after you do a kettlebell workout almost feels the same.
Yeah, you use a lot of hips, and it taxes your grips, just like gi jiu-jitsu does. So I think I came back. Cardio was okay. Obviously, like sensitivity, you forget stuff.
Oh yeah, I was like, how do you do a tripod sweep? I was like, oh fuck, it's ingrained in me, and like in my mind, mentally trying to play it back. I'm like, fuck, how do you do it?
Yeah.
And I was getting my fiance like, hey, just stand in front of me.
Yeah.
When I do it physically, when there's this is how you do it. Yeah. Grab the heel, sleeve.
Did she have any interest?
No, absolutely not.
You should have used the pandemic.
I tried. I really tried. I wouldn't say that. I didn't really try. Yeah. I didn't want to push it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I hear you. I think that's a lot of, we have Levana and Alan, who are like a husband and wife couple, and that's like how they got started, because I think like no partner is training with each other. So yeah, they're good, and they train here. But yeah, I think that's what a lot of people like. I remember, in the beginning we were like, I'll bring a family member, and then most people didn't have a family member that trained. So like we have another guy here, Gilbert, him and his son Ryan. Like I think his son started training a bit more because like his dad wanted to train and needed a partner. So it's kind of cool in that sense. But yeah, it's hard. I know they were doing like pods of people, like like train with the same couple people. Like that was a potentially an idea, but yeah, I just pulled the plug.
Yeah, me too. Well, I saw like in Victoria or like on the islands, they were just, doing it regular. Who cares? Fuck it. Jiu-jitsu is more important.
Yeah, there was some interesting. I mean, everybody did it different, but I don't know. I feel there may have. I saw it in the States too. Like,
oh yeah.
California was really bad. I remember seeing some posts about like 10th Planet guys, like the cops came and shut them down. But
encroaching on our freedoms, bro.
Yeah.
We love jiu-jitsu. We're not hurting anybody, bro. Thought this was America.
Oh, the Randy Marsh.
Yeah.
Yeah, but no, it's really good to have you now. It's like,
to be honest, this is a great idea. You know what I mean?
Right? It's fun.
Just everybody loves the sport. Yeah. Just throw in, whatever you want. And it's a club. You know what I mean? Like a club, not like a place where you pay membership and all this other stuff. And
it's basically like an after-school club.
Yeah, man.
Like
I fucking love it.
We're no different than like the radio club. Bunch of losers.
No, yeah, sure, whatever.
Radios.
We're cool. Our mom says we're cool.
Yeah, but yeah, it'd be cool to like. Do you like the idea? Like,
Yeah,
do you
I
find
think it's great. Yeah.
I think it's really think Owen is generous enough to. Have
Oh
the
yeah,
space,
for
'cause,
sure.
I mean,
This wouldn't happen if he.
no,
Yeah.
he doesn't have the space for
Yeah.
us to use. Right?
I think that's like one of the things. Like, if you don't have the space, we can't do the sport, and if we
Yeah.
don't have the people we want to do, we can't
Yeah.
do this.
Yeah, it's mostly like old dogs too. It's like I think we only have a couple people here who are, I think like only one or two that are fresh, but everybody else is trained at PTT and stuff. Yeah, it's just like a nice little club. Like Eden pops in and
Yeah.
weirds us out
Yeah,
from time to time.
I need it every now and then, man. Can't have too many straight arrows all the time. You gotta have that weird guy come in. I haven't listened to his pod, so I haven't.
He's like, if he was a font, that guy would be like Wingdings. You know?
We love him though.
I might be like a Comic Sans, but that guy is definitely just Wingdings. Just,
How long have you been a black belt now?
oh man, I got my black belt June of 2019.
Okay.
So, I mean, that's almost 3 years now. But if you take away like 18 months of that, yeah, I don't know.
Does it feel any more different than brown or?
No, I don't. I think, yeah, it's hard because it was. I feel for a lot of people that were on the cusp as well of their brown belt, like they were gonna get their black belts. Like, I think there were some people that were due that were coming up, and then pandemic happened. They got kind of splotched. So for me, it was like this is like the formative years of your black belt, where like I had plans to travel and do this, and then it kind of went like.
Yeah.
So no, it's been good. Like I think, nothing really changes, man. You just it's the same shit.
You're always learning.
Yeah.
So it doesn't even matter.
It's actually kind of nice because I've forgotten a lot of stuff. So it's kind of like a fresh start, or like you can clean up a lot of bad habits. But like I said, like I didn't find, definitely timing was off. But at least when I missed something, I'd be able to like notice like, hey, I missed something. I gotta go look back. Even like back takes and stuff. For the longest time, people like we'd be drilling and people would have me in like a quarter guard, and I'm like, how do you? Like, I was pretty confident I could roll to the back like through a truck roll. I'm like, how do you do that? And then, but once you get a couple reps in it, it's okay.
It comes back.
Yeah. Do you ever have that feeling where, let's say you have a move and you did it for a long time, and it was like you're doing it because it's very successful, and then for some reason you stopped and you didn't remember why you stopped?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So that was like a grand feeling of that for me, where I was like, what did I used to do? So it's been good. Again, we've been training since June, so almost a year now, like pretty consistently, like 1 to 2 times a week for me. But yeah, it's been good.
Do you think that's like just to maintain skills, like 1 to 2 times a week is enough? Do you think? I mean, it obviously depends on everybody, but
I think 2 times is optimal.
Yeah.
Depending on what kind of training you're doing. Because if you're just going in there and let's bang, then like you probably shouldn't be doing that at all.
Yeah.
But like the stuff we do here, like the drilling we did today, I'm like,
it's all important.
It's not very exciting. Like Eden and I were talking about before, like there's like the sexy stuff and the non-sexy stuff.
There is, but like it depends how you look at it, because like I always take everything, and I think everything is good, right? Because if it doesn't work for you, then it doesn't work, but it doesn't hurt knowing the moves, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Like I used to be able to invert, and that is useful information, like what we did today, but like I can't anymore.
Yeah, it's inverting is, I think more people can do it.
They can't, and then they can't. Like
they think.
If they do certain like those like solo movement drills where you roll over
like
your
Granby
shoulder,
rolls
the
and stuff
Granby
like that.
rolls, like you can do it. I used to not think I would be able to do it, like when I was in air quote competition shape.
Yeah.
Like, and then I was busting out inversions all the time.
It flows and it feels pretty fluid after a little while.
Yeah, and it's fucking cool.
The sexy moves. Everybody loves the sexy move. Nobody wants to do guard retention.
Oh, that's boring, man.
Pin escapes and guard retention. That's at the bottom of the barrel.
But that's the stuff that helps you out the most, man. That's the stuff that, like, you know, when guys try to pass you, like, I can't pass this guy. Why?
What did you decide to do during the pandemic to kind of, since you put down jiu-jitsu, did you find some?
No, I couldn't find anything to fill that void. Like, just working out at home just didn't cut it.
Yeah.
Like, I bought a fucking treadmill in my house so I could, like, run inside. Just wasn't cutting it for me, man.
Nothing, eh?
Yeah.
Do you feel like, what did you feel was the most detrimental part of losing jiu-jitsu? The physical aspect or like kind of mental aspect?
I think,
or like both equal?
I think physical mainly.
Yeah.
A little bit of maybe 25% mental, because like I used to be so much more disciplined, right? But like when the pandemic, I was like, fuck it, like most people just fucking out the window. Like, yeah, should I? Yeah, exactly. Like, should I go and do this? Ah, fuck it, whatever, man. Yeah. Everybody's suffering.
You lose motivation.
Oh, for sure. But I think physicality for sure. Like I saw huge, detriment to that.
Yeah, I think a lot of people, and I think, physical health is important, and I think nowadays culturally it's become more important again. Mm-hmm. So people remember when they closed the gyms, people were like,
oh, they were mad.
Oh, they were up in arms. And remember when gym equipment went like you could sell a 5-year-old recumbent bike that's falling apart for $1,000.
Yeah, man.
People were snapping stuff up everywhere, anything they could.
Mm-hmm.
I sold a bunch of old sandbags and stuff I had around that I wasn't really using for pretty much the same. I mean, my stuff was in good condition, so I didn't feel like I ripped anybody off. But yeah, people were chomping at the bit. You throw it up, and a couple of things I sold, people would come and they didn't. I mean, I shouldn't judge, but they didn't look like people that should be buying this. And I'm the worst salesman in the world because I'm have you received training in this?
Yeah. I don't feel comfortable giving this to you.
Honestly, because I sold a couple kettlebells because I had some old ones, and then I decided I want to get a full set of matching ones because I'm OCD. So I started selling these old ones, and then some non-kettlebell looking people would come, and I'm like, oh. And then I'm like, I don't know if I can in good conscience sell you this hunk of cast iron that you may or may not herniate.
Show me how you think you should use it.
I mean, it's none of my business, but I don't know, maybe I'm prying too much, but I'm like, oh, I don't, I sold my mountain bike, my downhill bike.
Yeah.
And it was this nice man, and he was going to buy it because he wanted to ride it with his son. And this is a downhill bike. I'm like, sir, this is 50, 60 pound bike. It's only meant to go down. I don't know if you, and those things are expensive, right? So I'm like, I was trying to, Shay was with me, a friend of ours, and she was watching me try to convince this guy not to buy my bike off me. And she's like, you're honest, but the worst salesman in the world.
You know what? I'm just going to keep it, Sorry I wasted your time, sir.
It's like, oh, I'll ride it on the dike. And I'm like, dude, this thing goes one way and that's down. You ride it flat. I'm like, I'm gassed riding it from the parking lot to I used to take it up to Whistler to the bike park. And I'd be like, I'm gassed riding from the parking lot to the lift, right? Because I'm like, this thing's not meant to. Ah, man.
It's a weird time everybody had to go through.
Do you feel like we're largely through it now? I mean,
I feel like we are, but I just read the other day, fucking sixth wave coming, Omicron second variant.
Yeah, there's I think Jen was telling me they're offering another booster.
Yeah, I heard that too. Yeah, and I mean, if that's the case, sure.
Yeah,
I read something about. I saw Jake Shields' tweet. I don't know if you saw that, where he's saying, "Oh yeah, Fauci's now saying whatever, everybody for themselves," which is what I said 2 years ago. It's up to you how you want to assess your risk towards the fucking virus.
Sometimes it's, sometimes I think you should. He's a very competent grappler, but I don't know if there's much value in taking his
advice
on pandemic health.
Oh yeah, of course, of
people,
course.
It's kind of like the internet's good and bad like that, right? Everybody has a voice, but I mean, well, people are pretty smart too. They choose.
Well, you can figure out for you, like, these 2 years have shown us that, right?
Yeah.
Like you can't listen to everything that's on the internet, man.
You can barely, I've shut down everything. Like, I don't have Twitter, I don't have Instagram, I don't have Facebook. I just pulled the plug kind of pretty hard. Not in a bad way though. I think it's overall, because I remember, man, some people on Facebook were going crazy, like just
With their
just opinion. You know, their thoughts is fine. They can do whatever they want, but
it's everywhere though. It's not just on Facebook. It translates into real life.
Yeah.
Like even just at my work, you know what I mean? Just you're entitled to have your opinion, and I just won't comment on it. That's all.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
But I think it feels more normal than it has.
It's good. Do you know what I mean? Everybody has a little taste of normalcy.
Yeah. I think once the summer and people get outside, because this is the first kind of non-pandemic summer we've had, right? So I think it would be nice because you can do like get together, like picnics and lunches, barbecues and stuff.
Yeah, man. I want to go
roll
see
on the beach.
Yeah, I want to go outside. Go back on the seawall. I haven't gone there in like 2 years.
Yeah.
Jimmy O Yang's coming to Vancouver. I want to go see him. He's hilarious.
Oh yeah, like concerts and stuff.
Yeah,
right?
live events.
Live events. Yeah, there's a lot of. Jen and I were talking about how like restaurants took a big hit because there was that big fire yesterday down in
Gastown. Yeah.
And I guess it was above where the flying pig was, and I've eaten there a few times. It's good, but like we were just saying how like it must be horrible for them to have to withstand a pandemic and now like a big fire.
Now this, yeah. Well, a lot of places were dealing with floods, and it just sucked for the restaurant industry, man.
You know what restaurants actually did okay though? Anybody like all the sushi, all the Asian, all the pizza places that were like
already doing takeout anyway. Yeah,
those... like we did a lot of takeout during the pandemic, Jen and I.
We did too, but like we saw like, oh man, this can get really pricey, especially with those DoorDash skip apps and stuff. You know, if we could go pick up, we would, but it adds up too. So we really got into cooking at home.
Yeah, okay. Did you get any good like diehard bulletproof recipes?
Oh no, they were all like just what we wanted to eat. Oh, okay. Like, we weren't eating for health. Like we just go do a really big Costco run, and like we go through all the things that we'd want to make and want to eat. And
did you like take it as an opportunity to try new, like learn new recipes or like
sort of definitely try new things. Like I'm off of white rice now. Like I'm on like this 7-grain rice. It's like purple. What? Yeah, there's like chickpeas and beans and shit in there. It's really good. I like it. I didn't think I would, but it's really good.
You have to turn in your Asian card.
Well, no, I like it's. There's a little bit of white rice in there. Like I 2-to-1 ratio it, so it's fine. The girlfriend's not. The fiance's not a big fan of it, so we alternate. We'll do 2-to-1, and then 2 white rice to 1 of the purple rice.
Fiance, that's another big news. So congratulations.
Oh, thanks, man. Thanks, man. On the way to
old ball and chain.
Happily married.
Yeah, that's what it is. Don't listen to this, Jen. Don't listen. Just.
Well, how long have you guys been married for? You guys have been married for a long time, right?
We got married in 2016.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know the dates. I know the
Not to put you on the spot here.
Thanks, Brent.
You can't see, but John is shaking his fist at me.
Yeah, when I get home. Yeah, it's been 2016, so about 6 years? 6 years, yeah.
And Max is 2? Max is 1?
He's turning 3 in May. Yeah,
holy.
Time flies, right? Like I said, like when I got my black belt, like pre-pandemic, it was, it's been, you guys are a monster. When are you guys planning, or do you already have a date?
We have a date set, October 27th of 2023.
Save the date. Yeah, that's cool. I guess things are opening up for planning. Was it a mad rush to get like
No, we're still like, we have a date set.
Yeah.
And we're still like working on venues because we're gonna do it in Taiwan.
Oh.
Yeah. So it's kind of a
At the night market?
Oh, dude, you have no idea how awesome that would be. But I don't know if that's gonna. Trust me, I threw it out there. I'm gonna try and make it work, but it's probably not.
Get married at the night market. Everybody can have what they want. It'll be fun.
Yeah, just go eat whatever you want, man. There's vouchers.
Is she from there?
She is from Taiwan.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Like she was born there, came here, went to the States. She has very complicated. Yeah. Went to school in the Philippines.
Oh.
Came back.
Multicultural.
Yeah.
International.
International,
student.
yeah.
International student.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. Man, that's gonna be not an enjoyable flight.
10 hours?
Yeah. Well, I'm still kind of hesitant about being in a.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
It freaks me out, man. Like.
I mean, I've never been huge on flying anyway, but.
No, neither have I. Neither have
don't
I.
know
If we could get everywhere by train, I would love that.
I also don't know I have no idea because I don't pay attention to anything, what the actual rules for like flying. It just used to be, like, it's
I
complicated.
think that all the airlines are just gonna make up their own rules now.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, even country to country, like you fly in there, you gotta have is there anything? Do you know, like you gotta get a test for this?
No, well, apparently now you don't need one to come in. Well, this is just for land. I don't even know about flying, right?
Yeah.
But you don't need one PCR test coming in or leaving as long as you're vaccinated. I don't even know if you need that anymore now. So.
Yeah. Good God. Yeah. Oh, yeah. They lifted the restrictions here.
Yeah.
Like not that long ago. What do you think about training at different clubs and stuff? Bringing up like travel, like do you think?
When I got to, I only got to do it once.
Yeah.
I went to a club in Kona, the Big Island.
Yeah.
And they were like slash CTC because like they do things differently at the Gracie schools, right?
Yeah,
like they have checklists and their testing is different, but like they seem like a normal school. Like they did the warm-ups the same and everything.
Yeah.
But I love going to try out different schools and see what they teach and what everybody else learns, right? That was a great experience for me. I would love to go train in like Korea or train in Japan.
I think Korea and Japan have a decent jiu-jitsu scene. I've trained when I went to Hong Kong. There was like a couple clubs, but there's not like Hong Kong's not big at all.
Yeah.
I only remember there being like maybe 3 or 4
3
clubs,
schools
like total. So I don't think it's as big in
Asia.
Like that portion of Asia.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like I don't think it's very big in Southeast Asia.
No, I remember in Thailand they had like one place you could grapple and it was like Team Quest, so it was like MMA grappling, right? No, I can't imagine wearing a fucking gi in Thailand.
It had to be like a wax paperweight. Soak that thing within like.
It just absorbs you.
Yeah, you'd be walking around in like a damp sponge. It'd be like a bath towel, a wet bath towel.
Ugh, gross.
Do you think, speaking of like the Gracie stuff, what are your thoughts on, like, obviously as a club here, we're kind of just, well, I mean, I try to organize curriculum and material as best I can, but it's not like.
There's got to be some sort of structure,
but it's not as regimented as like the Gracie system. Like,
and I don't think there's anything wrong with it.
Yeah.
Like, that's just the way they do their thing. I think they're really good at taking the sport of jiu-jitsu applying to street self-defense. I think that's what they're really good at.
Okay.
Like, if you were to get into a street altercation, Gracie Jiu-Jitsu can save your life. Not that, what we learned.
Not that we should be getting into.
Yeah. Not that you should be getting into street fights or anything, and not that what we learn here doesn't apply as well, but I just think they translate it better. I think that's what they do really well.
Yeah. I don't know how I feel about the curriculum stuff where like they teach I mean, even Gracie Baja does this. It's like the same warm up. I guess you know what you're getting. For better or worse, it's like, you go to any. I think the idea is you go to any Gracie Baja club anywhere, and like they're gonna run similar things for you, so they get like standardized.
People like that consistency,
Yeah.
though, right?
I think it's difficult as like I think I consider myself a martial artist on some level, where like, you know, there is something to be said for uniformity, but also like creativity in the martial arts. Like I think some of the coolest stuff is from like, you know, weird stuff. Like the meta is always changing. It's always like something different because
Yeah, like this buggy choke.
yeah.
Like, where did this come from? Or they had a double buggy choke.
I saw
Like,
it a couple of years. I'm still not sure what it is.
I don't know what it is. I like looking at it, I was like trying to figure it out. Like, where is it? Why does it look like, you know?
Yeah, or like I know even the way that people are finishing footlocks with like Mikey Musumeci, like he's using his head as like a secondary. I mean, it's the same mechanic if you look at it. It's like torsion on the leg, but he's using the side of his face and one arm so he can free up the. It's cool, right? Like I think that kind of creativity is nice to see, and I think it's beneficial for the sport. But I don't know if that would be as encouraged in a uniformity based, like you got to do.
No, it has to be this way,
Yeah.
which is kind of backwards, right?
Yeah.
Like I've seen memes of like, you know, jiu-jitsu in the 90s versus jiu-jitsu now.
Yeah.
And it's now like, oh, come on, my friend. It's very welcoming, right? And then back then they're like, hey, why are your shoes on the mat? And then they slam them down and like choke them out. I was like, don't come back here again. It's like, oh, fuck, man.
Yeah. It's. I mean, I think it's become more popular.
Oh, yeah,
now.
definitely.
I remember like when I started training, there was very little black belts. Like I started training at Apex with Milo, and
Yeah.
he was a blue belt at the time.
Yeah.
We'd have like a black belt come in once in a while, but that was like common. But now there's tons of black belts.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. We're in a great time for jiu-jitsu. There's so many of it.
It's interesting, right? Like resource-wise, there's more instructionals than ever. Most people on the instructionals speak coherent English.
Yeah.
And yeah, there's almost too much.
I remember back when maybe like early 2000s, we just had a Carlson Gracie school, right? I think it was, what's his name? Marcus Soros.
Yeah, Marcus Soros, he's still around.
Yeah, Marcus Soros and GB. That was it. That's all you had back then, right?
Yeah, I remember when I started, like, they had just started North Van BJJ back when Mark and Jeff were working together, and yeah, that was and Apex, of course, is there, and they've done really well. But there weren't. GB was kind of like there was always Megaton.
Oh yeah, Megaton. Yeah.
There was Gary. I think his name was Gary out in Coquitlam, and then there was Trevor Clarkson in Richmond. But now there's so many options.
So many.
There's 2 GBs in Richmond.
Yeah, it's crazy.
There's one in Stevenson.
I never thought we'd have an alliance school here. You know what I mean?
Big teams.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's almost.
There's a
like,
Cabrinha.
Yeah. I think you see it a lot in tournaments and competitions, like lots more team representations. And like, you know, yeah, like I've seen you at a couple of comps too, and it's cool because it's a lot more opportunity. I remember it used to be like you gotta go to BCIT and fight in like those, you know, you're trying to wrestle this guy and somebody's doing wushu next to you. On the platform.
Yeah, I like the strict just jiu-jitsu.
Yeah. Well, it's big enough to do it now, right? And then I think most people follow a standardized rule set now. Most people still use the IBJJF, I think, for better or worse. But yeah, it's cool that there's more local stuff, because I remember back in the day, unless you want to go down to California and do the big IBJJF,
Pans,
Worlds or stuff like that.
Did you ever do American tournament? Like
I did Pans a couple of times, and I did American Nationals, I think, or US. I can't remember. There was a few, but it was fun to do it as a group. But it's I think you can get the same
here at a local tournament. Yeah, because like I remember my first one. It's like, oh fuck, like the nerves thing is real, man. Like I was like, oh fuck.
my first tournament as a blue belt was the 2011 Pans.
Holy fuck, really?
Yeah, it was. Yeah,
That's a huge like amount of pressure, man. Like,
Yeah, it was a good experience, but I remember that was my last coherent thought as I stepped on the. I'm like, oh, this is my first tournament as a blue belt. I'm like, oh dear, like this could. I hope this goes okay.
Do you have like a favorite memory of like when you're like my favorite time
Yeah.
of jiu-jitsu is a 4-stripe white belt.
Oh yeah.
Like that's like when you're, oh yeah, I can do some shit, but you know, I'm not quite a blue belt yet, so I can get away with not knowing some shit. You know what I mean? And it's a great time to experiment and shit. That's my favorite time.
I think I'd have to agree with you. In retrospect, yeah, the white belt is the best time because you have no expectation.
Yeah.
You can do whatever you want, and everything is new and exciting. Mm-hmm. I think people don't appreciate it. I know I didn't appreciate it. I was so eager to get my blue belt and stuff, but I didn't realize, like, for me personally, like, I didn't want to be promoted to brown belt because I guess I think when you get to a certain level, you're like, oh man, like it, like there's
expectations,
yeah,
right?
Yeah, absolutely. So I didn't feel. It's funny because like I'm sure it's the same. Like you're a white belt, and then you want that blue belt.
Yeah.
And then some people, when they're blue belt, they're like, I want a purple belt. But for me, like I wanted my blue belt and kind of nothing else after that.
I felt the same too, man. I was like, okay, I'm here now.
Yeah.
I can kind of like hone my skills and get really good. Like, you know, all jokes aside, like, oh, brown belt, I want to stay a purple belt, man.
Yeah. It's tough, right?
Like, I have no desire, and it's like getting close. I have 3, man. I don't want, put that 4 on and we'll just call it a day, man.
Yeah, it's you got your blue belt and your purple belt both from Apex. Right?
Both from Milo,
awesome.
Marcy Milo, yeah.
Yeah, it was. I got my blue belt from Apex, and then I got, and then I kind of like I was hoping not to kind of just hang out at blue belt and enjoy life. But I got my purple belt from Salo. So it's hard to say no to that guy.
No, man, that guy's fucking Saludero. He's like famous.
Yeah.
Like the brothers, man. Him and Shanji.
Yeah, if he thinks you're okay, then. But then it was also a good thing where, like, I had this kind of thing in my head where, like, oh, he gave me my purple belt and I'd like to earn my brown and black belt from him. Because, like, he's a good barometer, like, very well respected.
Oh, of course.
And it was weird because I always thought I wanted it, but then as I trained more with Evan and we became good friends, I'm like, it's actually like your mindset changes. I'm like, it's more important that this guy knows me way better and knows my game way better and has like helped me through alongside. So I think as a white belt, I'm like, oh yeah, I read Jiu-Jitsu University and I'm like, oh, I want to one day get my black belt from Salo as a goal, but in the end, I'm very content that I got it from Evan. Like, it's awesome. We're good friends. We still keep in touch and train. And I think that's almost more. It is more meaningful.
Yeah.
So, yeah, when you get your brown belt,
we'll see when that comes.
do you feel like you feel like you're? I don't think anybody really feels super ready.
No. I don't even feel like we're a purple belt.
Yeah.
Like, my interpretation of purple belt should be. Do you know what I mean?
Do you feel like because do you have a game plan? Obviously, you have a concept of what you think you should be as a brown belt. Mm-hmm. Have you like written it down or taken steps to be like, this is what it needs to be, and this is how I can get there, and this is how, like.
I mean, if I really wanted it, if that was like my goal, like, okay, my focus is to get my brown belt, then I would totally lay out some stuff. But I'm kind of just like enjoying jiu-jitsu as it is right now. And, you know, when it gets there, it'll get there. I'm not in a rush, you know?
Yeah. I asked because like when I got my brown belt, that's when I was like, oh man, like, like, oh dear, like the black belt is the next one. And then I got this syndrome of like, it's okay being a crap. It's like it's expected to be a crappy white belt.
Yeah.
And it's fine to be like a crappy blue belt. Like, you shouldn't really be a crappy purple belt.
No,
like
no.
You shouldn't be a crappy brown belt, and you definitely shouldn't be a crappy black belt. So like it's like, oh man, like the acceptability of being useless is like diminishing
as you get higher, right?
Yeah, I like for me when I got my brown belt, I was like, oh man, like the next one is this is it, because you're going to be the black belt indefinitely. I mean, unless you ensign it and go backwards. Like I tried to set out. I wanted to try to set out like a plan to be like, okay, I got to do this, I got to do this, I got to do this beforehand. So I was seeing if, because you're probably coming up soon too.
Yeah. Well, I hope not. I mean, there's still so much. There's so much now that like the game keeps evolving. There's so much now that I would like to incorporate into my game. That it's just like my body can't keep up with the knowledge. You know what I mean?
There's so much out there, and it's hard to. I agree, but that's part of the beauty of jiu-jitsu, like the wheel that keeps on rolling. Right, you're never gonna have to run out of stuff to do.
Yeah, even if I did have a break from it, it's still there's like, you'll see something like, fuck, I really want to go do that. Yeah. Like it brings you back.
The sexy moves in the gram.
Sexy moves.
I just want to stop getting smashed. Smashing, just smashed less.
Yeah.
Or maybe to a lesser degree, so I can survive.
I don't see many people smashing you.
Dude, I'm like, you know what's funny? One of the things, like, I get smashed all the time, and because I'm a small dude, right? Like I'm like 60 kilos, like whatever. But it's funny because you hear other guys talk about like, oh yeah, I'm a smaller guy, and I'm like, no. Like, I am a smaller guy. Like I'm like borderline like women and children here. Like guys who are like 5'7", like 160. They're like, yeah, I'm a small guy. I'm like, no. Like if you look at the percentages, like you have an extra like 25% weight.
Yeah.
Like it's so. But yeah, I get smashed still all the time, especially by guys like Evan. Just smoosh me.
Yeah.
Or yeah.
But I mean, the worry is when nobody smashes you anymore. You're like, well.
I think you'd get bored.
Yeah.
I think, that's the last thing you want to be is like not engaged.
Yeah.
Just like swimming around and stuff.
You're in God mode all the time.
Yeah.
It's not fun.
How many days are you training now? Or are you able to get?
I'm trying to keep it 2.
2? Yeah, I think that's a healthy number.
Yeah.
Are you more interested in evening training or daytime training?
I like daytime training. You get it, not that it's like I see it as getting it out of the way, but it's not that I don't like it. I just like it that I'm getting to do it earlier instead of waiting till nighttime and then fucking
different. I want to say it's a different vibe too of the community that trains like in the morning versus the guys that train at noon and the guys that train at night. I would say the laziest people train at noon.
Yeah.
So that's
You're not wrong.
No, because like the morning people are the go-getters because they, go 9 to 5.
I gotta go do this and then go to my job and then blah, blah, blah.
And then the people that are after, like even after a long, hard day of work, they come in and put in like the effort. So they're hardworking. It's like the 10 o'clock to noon. It's like myself.
Yeah.
It's like,
Me too, man. Like, oh yeah. It's like 10 o'clock. I got a message from you and I was like, oh, that's 2 hours from now. Yeah, I can do that.
It's a Wednesday at noon. And we're just like, let's go wrestle a bunch of dudes in pajamas. Like, I think it's a different crowd. But I think I enjoy noon training. Or
me
like
too.
Anywhere between like 10 and noon is good. I've done a couple. Have you ever done morning stuff?
I have. Like, at my work, I used to have graveyard shift.
Okay.
And then so right after I get off work, I would go to Apex because we kind of like a trial morning program.
Yeah.
And I did that. It was great. I could do that, like, because I just got off work and was still awake.
I want to, actually it's interesting you say that because I want to try and do something through the guys at the fire department where like 9 o'clock in the morning, like after night shift, because then I think I'll get more membership buy-in from guys who are already in. Everybody lives outside the city now, but if it's like we get off shift, kind of ends at 8, and then if it's like once a week, like every Friday or Thursday, whatever, like at 9 o'clock till 10:30, just have an hour of open gym or something.
That'd be so cool.
Yeah, and they get all these oaths in. But yeah, I think like it's interesting. I think I'm the same. I wouldn't want to wake up early and come and do a class as
if I'm
much.
already awake.
It's the only mornings for lazy people.
Yeah.
Right.
All right, I'm already awake. I need to get something out.
I think it's reasonable to do that.
Yeah.
When you're already there. Have you given any thought to I think that you're competent and your jiu-jitsu is good. Have you given any thought to like coaching or teaching?
I would, but like it's hard for me to get things from my brain out, and like especially just little details.
Yeah.
Like I feel like I can get the meat and potatoes of a technique, but like the small little details, and those are the ones that are super important.
Yeah.
Like I would love to try.
Yeah.
Right.
I ask because I don't think you. I mean, the Muay Thai instruction of yourself is obviously excellent, but I don't think you really did too much teaching at blue belt, right?
No.
So, and I find that's when most.
Well, I think that's important in your growth of jiu-jitsu is being able to teach moves, right?
Yeah.
Like it's part of the progression.
So, do you think that's something you're gonna maybe look into?
Oh yeah, for sure.
I'm sure there's lots of opportunities for you at Apex and stuff too, but. Yeah, because I think I'm just like thinking about what I did when I was in your like I started coaching a lot at PTT and stuff, which I think was beneficial. So
yeah, if you ever want me to show something here, like just tell me ahead of time so I can research it and
work on my Brazilian accent.
Okay, everybody.
I went to Advantage to train. I think I told you this before, but I went there to train to visit Evan. And one of their black belts, Paulo, was teaching, and he's Brazilian. So in terms of like time as a black belt, like he got his black belt like after I did, and like much after Evan did. But we were just both standing there, and he's teaching. I'm like, man, like you might have more experience as a time as a black belt, but will never sound as authentic as him. He's like, oh hey guys, like it's awesome. He's just like, I'm like that's what it should be, not some like white dude and some small Asian guy. Yeah. It's like you have this tall, athletic Brazilian man. Like
weathered hands, weathered face.
Yeah, he's like, this is like Lovato with a Brazilian accent.
Oh yeah.
Like that. But,
yeah, that's how it should be, man.
Yeah, I'm like, man, Paulo makes me feel like a fraud.
Yeah. Like your Brazilian jiu-jitsu instructor should just have maybe 40% terrifying. He can turn it on and off. Like, he can be terrifying and also welcoming at the same time.
Oh, man. Yeah, well, yeah, I'm looking forward to when you get that brown belt. And so I swear.
It's not some conspiracy.
I remember the first day you came, we're like, what are you doing? And you know what? But in my defense, it wasn't just me.
Yeah, okay.
It was like Eden, and even some of the other guys are like, yeah.
I think that's just how a rumor works. Yeah.
I don't know. Like even Owen was like, I thought I saw you posting. Like we got a lot of corroboration.
Okay.
You know? Like there is something to be said about like strength in numbers or mob mentality. Or we were just feeding off each other. We're like, I'm pretty sure like I guess we could have just asked like Milo or something.
Yeah.
He'd be like, no. Yeah. But it's better this way.
To be fair, sometimes Milo will look at me and he'll be like, don't you have 3 stripes? And I'm like, no. Oh.
Well, here you go.
So like, I don't think he even knows.
Well, you've been with them for a long time, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's how many homegrown black belts do they have now? Because I remember Derek got his black belt.
Derek got his black belt.
Yeah. Did Big Dave get it?
No, he's still a brown, but I think he's
deucing.
He's very deucing.
He was a nice guy. I remember. Both those guys were just really, really.
Oh yeah.
Friendly guys.
Yeah, they're awesome, and at the same time, Dave will crush you. I get crushed by him all the time, man.
I remember.
Yeah, I think just Derek right now,
That's awesome.
and like, I would love to get my black belt from Milo, just so I can have that whole step up there, you know?
That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember when Derek and I were both white belts. Or maybe I had my blue belt. I can't remember. But yeah, just the nicest guy.
Yeah.
He looks so young.
He does.
Why does he look like he's like maybe like early 20s?
Yeah.
Like just all the time. That
Asian
guy,
don't Asian.
yeah. That guy just didn't age at all. He's a handsome man. And he's like, I remember when we were first training, I'm like, and he told me, I think he might be the same age or older than me. I was like, what?
That's not right.
Yeah. Well, I'll let you go, man. But thanks for coming in. I really
No, this was
appreciate it,
fun.
taking the time.
Yeah.
It's so good to have you. I can't express the. Well, you saw when the first time you came in, it was mostly just like hugging, and not like the jujitsu. It was just mostly Eden hugging you, and everybody's having laughs and us accusing you of being a closet.
Yeah, of sandbaggery.
Sandbag.
Get out of here, you sandbag. You're welcome, but get back out of here. Come back with the right belt.
Yeah, well, thanks again for doing this, and thanks
man.
again for being part of the inspiration for it.
I'm happy to be here. I love it. So let's keep doing this. Like,
We'll have to talk about that Piotr Jan fight. God damn. Okay, thanks.
No, thank you, man.